What's up, guys, and welcome to Chapter 10, Legal and Compliance, Part 1 from the official study guide for the CCSP. Now, if you're new to the CCSP or you're going to be taking the exam or you're just wondering what Chapter 10 is about, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to go over some of the exam essentials as well as review questions from Ben Maliso. And we're going to talk about what you need to know coming out of Chapter 10. So stay tuned. All right, so the first exam essential that Ben talks about in Chapter 10 is having an understanding of the ISO standards and pretty much a fundamental idea on what they're about. Now, there's quite a few ISO standards in Chapter 10. One of them is ISO 27017, and those are the standards for providing cloud services and how cloud customer information and privacy should be controlled. There's also ISO standard 27018, and those are the standards for security techniques for processing PII. There's the ISO standard 27050, and those are standards for e-discovery. And then there are a bunch of ISO standards regarding forensics. So if you need to brush up on any of your ISO standards, make sure you check out Chapter 10 because that's where they're located. Another exam essential is understand US security and privacy standards and have a good fundamental idea on what they're about. Now, there are your PCI DSS, and that is your payment card industry data security standard. Now, keep in mind that this is a standard and not a law. Then there's your HIPAA, and that protects patient records as well as patient data, and this is geared towards your healthcare industry. Then there's your SOX, and that applies to publicly traded corporations. Now, SOX was enacted due to fraudulent accounting practices, poor audit practices, substandard financial controls, as well as poor oversight from board directors. And your SOX applies to all publicly traded corporations in the United States. And then there's your GLBA, also known as your Financial Services Modernization Act of 1999, and it protects customers' account information in the financial sector. And then there's your GDPR, and that's your privacy regulation used over in the EU. Another exam essential that Ben Maliso talks about is understanding the issues and concerns of e-discovery in a cloud environment. Now, e-discovery is the process of identifying and obtaining electronic evidence for either prosecuting or litigation purposes. And it also includes things like forensic evidence as well as having a chain of custody. Also, make sure you have a understanding of the audit processes and methodologies. Understand what audit scope and gap analysis is. Now, gap analysis is a review of the differences where a company is compliant and not compliant within a given standard or regulation. Now, gap analysis is designed to help aid in determining how to become fully compliant. So keep in mind that best practices is not to engage in providing specific recommendations on how to close gap analysis with specific systems or products, because this could eventually lead into a conflict of interest. Now, also understand the different types of audit reports, and what I mean by that is your SOC 1, which is an audit of the company's financial reporting controls, your SOC 2 Type 1, your SOC 2 Type 2, and your SOC 3. Now, your SOC 2 Type 1 is pretty much a description of the controls that are placed into operation, usually over a 6-month period. And your SOC 2 Type 2 is reports that go more in depth. Think of it as a blueprint for a hacker, because your Type 2 SOC 2 reports on things like the security, availability, processing, integrity, confidentiality, and privacy of companies' applications and environment. So everything an adversary would need to attack an organization could potentially be found in a Type 2 report. And that's why there is a SOC 3 report. And that is a seal of approval to the public without sharing any specific information. So chances are, if you're not getting a SOC 2 Type 2, you will be seeing a SOC 3 report. Now, if you're not familiar with any of these exam essentials, make sure you brush up on Chapter 10. So let's go ahead and jump into some of the review questions. Question 1. Which of the following terms is not associated with cloud forensics? A. Analysis. B. E-discovery. C. Chain of custody. Or D. Plausibility. If you said D, plausibility, you would be correct. Question 2. Which of the following is not a component of contractual PII? A. Scope of processing. B. Use of subcontractors. C. Location of data. Or D. Value of data. If you said D, value of data, you would be correct. Question 3. Which of the following laws resulted from a lack of independence in audit practices? A. HIPAA. B. GLBA. C. SOX. Or D. ISO 27064. If you said C, SOX, you would be correct. Question 4. Which of the following reports is no longer used? A. SAS 70. B. SSAE 18. C. SOC 1. Or D. SOC 3. If you said A. SAS 70, you would be correct. Question 5. Which of the following is the primary purpose of a SOC 3 report? A. For absolute assurances. B. For compliance with PCI DSS. C. For HIPAA compliance. Or D. For a seal of approval. If you said D, seal of approval, you would be correct. Question 6. Which statute addresses security and privacy in the U.S. financial industry? A. GLBA. B. FERPA. C. SOX. Or D. HIPAA. If you said A, GLBA, you would be correct. Question 7. Which of the following SOC report subtypes represents a point in time? A. SOC 2. B. SOC 3. C. Type 1. Or B. Type 2. If you said C, Type 1, you would be correct. Question 8. Which of the following SOC report subtypes spans a period of time? A. SOC 2. B. SOC 3. C. SOC 1. Or D. Type 2. If you said D, Type 2, you would be correct. Question 9. What is a primary component of the GLBA? A. The right to be forgotten. B. EU data directives. C. The information security program. Or D. The right to audit. If you said C, the information security program, you would be correct. And finally, question 10. Which of the following are not associated with HIPAA controls? A. Administrative controls. B. Technical controls. C. Physical controls. or D, financial controls? If you said D, financial controls, you would be correct. And that does it for the overview of the exam essentials and review questions for Chapter 10, Legal and Compliance, Part 1. Thanks for watching, and make sure you check out the description for links on Ben Malisoe and how to get the official study guide. And stay tuned for the final chapter, Chapter 11, Legal and Compliance, Part 2, Exam Essentials, as well as review questions. And thanks for watching.